Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Keeping It Real with Mary and Charles. Today is the 27th of September 2021, and it is also World Tourism Day, one of our favorite
That's right.
topics between Charles and I, and we love tourism and we love to play our part.
That's very
So we
true.
want to wish all of those individuals who are within the tourism sector a happy World Tourism Day. Now, having worked in the tourism sector for so many years, I was a tour guide, I was a reservations agent, ticketing agent, cruise specialist. I've been there, done that. So, Charles,
Yeah.
you can give us a little tip off
Well,
on your end.
I've been in the airline industry now for over 30 years.
Yeah.
Travel agent, you
Yes.
know, then from travel agency went to the airline Virgin Atlantic.
Yeah.
Uh, then from there, Transatlantic Air, and then I went to a UK tour operator doing meet and greet. Then from there, I went to Turks and Caicos, working with airline.
Mm-hmm.
So it's all about the tourism aspect. Most of my life was dealing with aviation part of it, but also
Yes.
you had to touch with dealing with hotels and cruises, and then with my job with ITC, UK tour operator, it
Mm-hmm.
was more of meeting guests coming into Barbados, selling to hotels, meeting them at hotels, selling tourism in Barbados. So it was fun, so tourism is our business and we have to play our part. So
Continuously so. And I'm hoping
that's
that folks
very,
out
very
there
true.
realize the importance of tourism to Barbados because if we don't do the right thing, we really can't get back on track.
Well,
And one of them,
not only Barbados, but is the whole of Caribbean. We need
yes.
tourism in the Caribbean because it affects all of us independently.
And have you realized the news from one of the ministers in Trinidad who spoke about the issues that they're having right now with food?
I think I heard some
Did
of
you hear
that.
about that?
It
Yeah.
is in Trinidad, isn't it?
Yes, they're having difficulties with food
Yeah,
coming
in
into the
Trinidad.
country. So you can imagine Trinidad,
Yeah,
who's way bigger than we are, that has land that can grow their own food produce, having issues importing their food.
that's very true.
So,
That's
I
sad.
think we have to be very grateful on that note and realize the multi-billion industry called tourism is important not just to Barbados but across the globe.
The
And
Caribbean. Yeah.
on that mark, for those persons who might not remember or realize the importance of what they need and require to do, and you're going to come with us with the numbers shortly, is persons who aren't sure about how to travel when they go outside of their homes. You have various options, and I decided to put them here so people would realize you have your mask. I think that they can buy them in the
That's really nice.
stores. You get some people
That's
selling
right.
them 10 for $5 or 10 for 9.99. I think these here have 10 packs in them. We've already
I
shown
think actually I
Charles
was in
how to.
town. I was in town a few weeks ago, and they were selling them like 50 for $10
But there you go, in a
in a box.
box. In a box.
In a
And
box.
you
Yeah.
have the option
Yeah.
of these. I don't remember what these are, but the surgical mask. And you also have the option
Yeah.
of the cloth mask. Of course, with the cloth mask, you
That's
have to wash them after every use. And you remember they told us
exactly.
that you have to put it over the ear like that, over the ear like that, cover your nose and chin, which means that your
Yeah.
all your bottom area should be covered, right? And
That's
remember to
correct.
take
That's
off
correct.
like that. That's how you do your mask. Okay?
That's
And
correct.
when you're traveling, we females like to have a lot of junk in our bag. We have to have our little alcohol. Yeah. Spray your hand. You're going in through the doors, you're always spraying your hand again. And for those who want to get a
Yeah,
little technical, you got a little beep.
that's right.
I'm not advertising, but I just want people to know you have the miniature size. These are only about $3.99. You buy it, and don't feel ashamed when you're going into the bus or the ZR.
And it's,
You spray,
well,
just
I'm
spray.
not ashamed. If we got the alcohol, it's spray on my
Yeah,
hands.
just spray all over, spray all over. And we've got our
That's
wipes, our
right.
little
That's right.
wipes. You wipe down the area, keep
That's
it clean. We telling the folks
that's
out
right.
there they don't want to vaccinate, and right now it's a big drive. You have information on that, Charles, with the big drive for the vaccination?
Yeah, they're all over Barbados. It popped up all over Barbados. I actually took my stepdaughter to Christchurch, Christchurch Hall on Friday to get her first vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, when I was in car waiting for her, and waiting, I realized the number of elderly persons, people
Wow.
bringing their, I guess, mothers and grandmothers to the center to be
Mm-hmm.
vaccinated.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, there was a point where I saw the nurses coming to vehicles to actually apply the vaccine to people.
Mm-hmm.
When I got there were like 20 persons, and within less than an hour, you had some like 50 plus, So people were actually lining up, coming with umbrellas because it was really hot. So coming up with the umbrellas to actually get the vaccine.
Did I mention
So
the water?
yeah, and water. But I
I
think
have to
I
mention
think
water.
the unfortunate thing is that these cases are actually rising. I think it is actually probably putting a little scare into the public because today we had 175 more cases, and now we have over 1,000 in isolation. So um,
Mm.
just check the website. I think gis.gov. I
Yes.
think they will have updated uh, centers that will be having the vaccination. I know the Masonic Lodge, over the past week or so, they'll be doing the vaccination there.
Yes,
So,
they
but
have.
there are a number of places that you can actually go and get your vaccination. It's important
Definitely.
because every death that we are getting now, there
Mm-hmm.
are actually persons who have not been vaccinated.
Yes,
So
definitely.
it
And
is
also
important to
have
get,
comorbidities. Also have comorbidities as well.
yeah.
I know that.
So
And of course,
I
what I
think
agree with you.
not only us that's having that issue. I think it's actually worldwide. I mean, people who are actually getting sick and dying are actually ones that are not vaccinated. So it shows the importance of the vaccine.
Yes, definitely. And on that note
Yeah.
as well, we have to inform our viewers that one of our specially invited guests, Mrs. Janelle Scantlebury Munsi, or Munsu, I hope I'm calling her name correct, from the Barbados
Also,
Statistical Services Department, did call to advise that she was pressed into a couple of virtual meetings this afternoon and is most desirous to come on the show to give a little bit of the input of what the census is for 2020 in Barbados. And it's very important that we realize the importance of doing the census. And we did speak about that on a previous show, week before last, I think. So she was very happy to come on, but of course, when you're dealing with government, what happens when you're called by the boss, you got to be there. However, we still have two of our guests who will
got
be
me
joining us
there.
this afternoon. A young lady by the name of Tahira Hain, and she has, but I don't want to say it's a good or bad company, out a new company. She's been in the field before, but of course now she's stepped out on her own, and she's dabbled in quite a lot of things, Charles. You won't believe this is a young lady, a young entrepreneur. And if anybody recognizes her, she actually started a program, or with the help of, she would correct me throughout the show, with, I think
Hmm.
it's a cosmetology course at the, what's the St. James School now called? I keep forgetting these names. Sir Frederick,
I can't remember.
sorry, take off the
The
sir.
schools change their
Frederick
names nowadays. I
Smith.
can't remember.
I don't. So it's the Frederick Smith Secondary School, and we all know him or knew him as CP Smith.
Okay,
But it's the Frederick. You can't put the sir in front. Frederick Smith Secondary School.
that's right.
So give us a little tidbit on that.
Correct.
But one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is we live and then we die. And because we are now in a pandemic, I know it's a very, very difficult topic to talk on, especially having to call a funeral
It
director.
is.
I've had that personal experience, and you have had that personal experience. And it's not something easy to talk about. And we know it's very, very difficult.
Actually,
So it's a lot to go through.
I actually lost someone in my family recently. Actually, 2 days ago.
Oh, there, with my
So
condolences. You
I know
didn't
it
WhatsApp me that.
is. Oh no, it's okay. It's
My
it's a, it
condolences.
is it is a tragic and sad experience to lose someone that you're very close to.
Yes.
So
And it's not easy. So one
unfortunately,
of
we
the
have to deal with
things,
for
yes,
directors.
yeah, and they're the ones who can best tell us, and explain the procedures and what to expect, because a lot of things happen that we don't know, and it
Hmm.
really alludes you to the fact that I have to go through all of this. That was my experience. I never thought that you had to choose pamphlet and colors and there's a difference between a coffin and a casket. And I mean, you, your mind isn't there at all. And when you really think about it, it's a lot of work. So it's always good that you can give somebody who you learn to trust. That's a big word. Trust along the way to do the
Trust.
job that you, the family member, are. I don't want to say incapable, but that's the softest word I think I can use with respect to
Yeah, actually,
someone to manage.
when my dad passed away, when you go to funerals, we only see one aspect of the funeral. You go, you
Yes.
see the casket and the body. You get the
Mm-hmm.
leaflets,
Mm-hmm.
but the actual steps behind the scenes to have all
Yes.
that done is unreal. And I saw things when my dad passed away that I never thought I was seeing, you know. And I believe that to be a funeral director, you have to have it from your heart to do this thing.
Yes.
Because the
Yes.
things I
Definitely.
saw is unbelievable. And then
Yeah.
when the person is actually in the casket,
Mm-hmm.
there are things that I see that I guess a lot of people will not see because of the closest you are
Yes.
when you having been prepared for this event.
Correct. Correct.
Um, is not a very pleasant thing. Is hard, and
Yeah.
then you have to go choose a casket
You.
is hard. But I must say that a film director have a job also to make the family feel relaxed and comfortable
Yes. Yes.
because they
Yes.
know within themselves it's not an easy time for the family. So they try to make it, they try to take the burden away from you
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to make the process easier for you to handle. And I mean, the funeral home that we dealt with, I mean, they were amazing. They were
Yeah.
amazing. They put all the stops, and it was I give them
Wonderful.
10 out of 10. It
Wonderful.
was awesome. But
So let us in.
it's
It
not
is.
easy.
It's not easy. It's definitely not easy.
No, it's
So
not easy.
let us bring
Yeah.
in young Miss Tahira Payne, who would be able to give us a little snippet about herself, her beginnings, and at her point here, where she's at during this COVID 19 pandemic. So, welcome, Miss Tahira Payne. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Hello,
How
Tahira.
are you? Hi.
I'm,
Hi, Charles.
I'm
I
well.
am wonderful. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks.
Here.
Welcome. How are you today? How are you?
Hot, but I'm fine.
Oh,
Thank you for
yes.
asking. How about yourself?
Well, we're steaming over here. Charles is fanless, and I have two, but I can't send him any because he's too far away.
Okay, and I have one.
After
Okay. Just sorry about that, Charles.
So, Tahira,
that's
Yes,
okay.
please.
Charles said
Trust
to
me,
me,
I would die.
Charles said to me when we were doing our review for the evening,
Okay.
a funeral director. I said, yes, we have to talk about this. It's a serious thing.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people don't think about inviting a funeral director, but
Mm-hmm.
we want you to give us a little snippet about yourself and then take us on the road to where you are now. I know personally, I know you a little bit, but let others who are following us this afternoon learn a bit about Tahira Payne and bereavement care.
Okay. My name is Tahira Payne. I'm manager and the funeral director of Bereavement Care Funeral. I have been in the funeral industry for about 5 years or more, and I started off as a funeral assistant with Two Sons Funeral Home. My business is located in Durance Village in St. James, just on the west coast of Barbados. But we operate through the premises of Two Sons Funeral Home still.
Hmm.
What else would you like to know? We provide pre-planning.
Hmm.
We do burials and cremation. We do removal of your loved ones as well, and we offer bereavement advice.
Hmm. Wonderful. Now, if I remember correctly, while you started your stint at Two Sons, and
Yeah.
I don't want Charles to laugh, but I remembered you explained to me that you used to actually, what the Bajans say, dress the dead, the deceased.
Yes.
So give us a little explanation on that because you never know, young people want to get into these things and they say it's a lucrative business. Don't mind that it's a very sad occasion, but it is a
Mhm,
lucrative business. So
mhm.
what made you want it to be dressing, quote unquote, the dead?
For me, it isn't really about dressing, quote unquote, the dead, like you said. It was very personal for me when I went on to this journey. It began in 2018. Like I said, very personal. I lost someone very close to me, and the grief that I went through, I don't know if my mother could have handled it.
Mm,
And being in the industry of cosmetology,
mhm,
you needed your sciences. And I always had a thing for science and
mhm,
pathology.
mhm,
And with over 12 years of being in the cosmetology industry,
mhm,
that one experience made me go further after doing my 4 years plus with Tucson as a funeral home assistant. I
mhm.
decided it was time for me to take my education further.
Right.
And with me taking my education further and learning more about the industry,
Mhm,
knowing how to comfort my family, communicating with them, and taking all the stress away from them and just handling the situation to leave them with a memory that no one can take from them is what
right.
motivated me to be on this path today.
Right, right, right. That is beautifully said. I would have never. You actually give me goosebumps. Oh, I I I can't think of the path that you're talking about, other than the fact that I would be on your family side because you were looking
Mhm.
at it from a different perspective. And speaking of
Mhm.
cosmetology, since that seemed to be part of your passion, tell us a bit more of your
Yeah.
service to the community at the secondary school.
I am a well. I teach at the Frederick Smith Secondary School. I
Yes.
teach the CVQ cosmetology at level one at the Frederick
Mm-hmm.
Smith.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, I should say that that is a journey for not only myself, but for
Mm-hmm.
my students. These
Yes.
students that we have of today are very passionate about the skill,
Mm-hmm.
and they just need that person to help them, what's the word?
Progress.
Challenge themselves.
Yes,
Challenge
challenge.
themselves,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? And I see it as a good way to assist them when they leave school, and
Mm-hmm.
they can also be an entrepreneur from a very young age. So being in
Mm-hmm.
school and knowing a skill or having a trade is very
Mm-hmm.
important, because we hear of persons who go to the university and they
Yes.
do their bachelor's and
Yes.
their honors and their doctorate, and then they can't find a job in a relevant area, and then they
Yes.
have to resort to a skill. So having that in the secondary school exposes the students from an early age how to pull from within, so that they can gravitate to a niche that will supplement them until, they can reach their path in life.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love that
Question for you.
because that. Yes, go
Yes,
ahead,
Charles.
Charles.
Normally when you have people going to schools, talking about their profession and skills, you normally have a few people that may be interested in that particular field. Have you have had anyone in your class that actually interested in doing this at a funeral home?
Yes, I do. I have a few students who are interested in doing it at that level. Hence why I would be now completing my training at Erdiston College. That will also help me to enhance my skills, so that I can provide an environment for those students who want to come into the industry and lean on my business and myself as an apprenticeship.
Wow. I like that question, Charles. I like that question. At the end of the day,
I guess I guess it's a big business eventually because um, there will be a need for a funeral director, but it's just
yes.
how you handle the situation and handle your clients and the services that you provide.
Yes, yes and no, because the industry that we are in and Barbados itself, we often come up here, our families speak about, we are accustomed of going with such and such for all these years, and
Yes.
they stick in tradition. But
Mm-hmm.
what about persons like me
Yes.
who has been in the industry working outside another funeral home and
Mm-hmm.
decided to take that step?
Mm.
Wouldn't you trust me the same way? I
Yes.
often hear, oh, she's new, but I have experience, I have the exposure. And that's what I
Yes.
like to tell my clients. Yes, I may be new to you, or the business may be new to you, but I
Mm-hmm.
am not new to the industry.
That's right.
I
That's right.
I I often think that if someone offers you an opportunity, say yes and you take that chance. And then once you have that experience and you have gotten the exposure, maybe
Mm-hmm.
you may want to tackle the qualification after. Who
Right.
knows? But nothing beats a hands-on experience.
That is so true. That is
Well,
very. You really hit the head,
I think
Charles.
that Yeah, because you're right. A lot of people go back to established companies,
That's
Yeah.
right.
and
And nothing is wrong with
I
that.
myself,
Nothing is wrong with that. But
no,
sometimes you need to give a
that's very
person
true.
a chance to shine.
Well,
Is it?
I want to
Yeah,
interject here,
that is
Charles.
very
I
very
want to
true.
interject. I want to interject, Charles. What she is saying, not only to us and the audience, in order for us to grow, you have to let the youth grow as well, because the old are dying,
Yeah,
and
Mhm.
the
very
youth
true.
are bringing innovative or innovation to the
Yes,
forefront, and it's
yes,
making it very. They, they don't they don't just want to look at change. They want to give you something that is better, and maybe something that you would not have looked or seen before. And I think I may not be as youthful. I'm younger than Tahira. I want to say, and Charles is younger than Tahira. And what I'm
okay,
trying to say to people out there
And you put
is
together.
that we have to allow the youth to expand and
yes,
grow, give
yes,
them a chance. And
yes.
my difficulty is it's not just the youth, it's
Mm-mm.
anything new. They don't want to
Anything
accept
new.
change. So that's where the road you went down, I understood it perfectly well,
Right.
because I am considered an entrepreneur. I might have my
Okay.
own business and I might do bread, I might do my show, I might do a
Mm-hmm.
school, whatever. But then the quote unquote, the different color or colors tend not to gravitate towards something that is change. They don't want to accept that, but
No,
would
they
rather
don't.
stay stale rather
Mm-hmm.
than grow. And I think what the Ministry of Education and the Prime Minister and
Yeah,
those that are within those folds, they're trying to, you know,
Innovate. Yeah,
reinvent
yeah.
and try to let people out there know, okay, we have young people. Yes, as you said, they might go and do the bachelor's,
Young
all the
people is
different
the
degrees and
future.
stuff. That's
Young
right.
people is the future.
We have
And
to
I,
give them a chance.
and for me, I find that in certain industries,
Mm-hmm.
Barbadians and Bajans, we gravitate to certain things. And I'm going to
Mm.
give an example.
Mm-hmm.
When Little Caesars first came to Barbados, there was a
Mm-hmm.
huge line.
Mm,
When
not me.
Starbucks came to Barbados, there was a huge line, and there's still a huge
Yes.
line.
I don't know.
So,
I don't go.
so it is what the people want,
Burger King. Don't
right?
forget Burger King,
Oh,
McDonald's.
yes, what the people want.
McDonald's.
And
Mm-hmm.
that is why I have created a
Yeah,
business to support what the people want. I am
Yes.
trying to not sell the product, but I am selling the brand and the services
Aye.
to
Aye.
persons
Amen.
that I can actually take action of.
That's right. But how she sound, child? She sound like a real entrepreneur.
but
I like how she sound.
where you're, yeah, but your parents and grandparents, and they tell you, um, right day I want to go to certain to a particular funeral home.
And that's
Particular
fine.
But I
home.
say,
We have to respect their
but I
wishes.
know that no, no, no. I and you have to respect their wishes,
Yeah.
and that is why that's why most of the time a lot of young business like yours,
Hmm.
um, I would say struggle, but find it
Hmm.
difficult to get exposure. But as you rightly said, what you provide, the extra
Hmm.
services that you give
Hmm.
is will be beneficial to you because it takes away from the others because they don't provide that service that you give.
Hmm.
And also the fact too that she's not offering anything different per se, It is just how she's delivering the service. I
Yeah.
think that's what we have to remember is how
Yep.
she's delivering the service. And on that
Yeah.
note, before we let
Correct.
Tahir go, because we have our other guests coming on shortly, I want to know, how did the pandemic treat your business as well as the school? Give us a little um, synopsis on that, because I know right now it's difficult for some based on your business for the funerals as well as school itself. How has the pandemic treated you there?
In terms of the school, you will know that we have resorted to the online platform, and a lot of students have struggled with just knowing how to do certain things, which is supposed to be a competency based approach. So, for example, to show them how to actually hold the blow dryer or hold the brush, and
Mm,
to be there, to, to give them that actual support. It is a bit difficult to do that over the internet. However, the industry of cosmetology is not only one where you do a lot of practicals. Yes, practicals is a very big, important part of it,
mm-hmm.
but there is also the theoretical aspect of it. In
Yes.
order for you to shampoo a person's hair, you need to know what type of hair the person have, what is the best shampoo, what is the best conditioner, does the
Mm-hmm.
person have build up, what type of scalp. So theoretically that can be taught online, and giving them a project to sustain the, you know not having the practical, or
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you cannot actually do things because some of these students don't have the tools to work with, is another big factor. However, you have to improvise, you have to look at the type of students that you teach, and you just have to make it a blended approach for every child in the classroom. And we also have students in there who is doing barbering. So for those guys who are interested in the world of barbering, it's a bit difficult for them, even though the components in cosmetology for the girls is basically the same for barbers. Barbers will not always relate to why they need to learn these unique. It will always come over as, but this is a girl thing, ma'am. And I will have to say to them, you need to be very open minded in the field that you are in, because there are ladies out there who would prefer to go to a gentleman to get a haircut. And men
That is so
tend to make
true.
more money in this industry right now where hair cutting and natural styling is concerned.
Oh,
For the funeral industry,
She might.
what I, yes,
go
Charles?
ahead, Charles.
No, go ahead. Go
Charles.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay. For the funeral industry, that is a little bit of a ticklish thing. Um, because you have persons who are contracted to do certain things, and then with that, you still cannot overstep. You have to wait until you are called upon to appropriately advise them. Even in the case of a person losing their life to COVID-19, it is still hard because the family cannot get that closure. There are certain things that
Yeah.
you have to implement, and it comes all the way down from the Ministry of Health and WHO in the UK. And I remember when the pandemic first started in the UK, and we heard about all of these bodies piling up in the morgue, and the government had to look for, certain areas to place them. And then they realized that it was probably getting too much on them. And then they decided to, release them to the family, hoping that they would give it a little bit of closure. It is still not closure for these families. It is not, because there are certain things that you still cannot do when you have a COVID death. You cannot view the body cannot be viewed.
You cannot view the body?
No, you
Is it
cannot.
serious?
You cannot
Wow.
view the body, even though they say that, you know, in order for the virus to sustain, it needs a living host. You
Hmm.
are still exposing not only your staff and your facility, but you're exposing your loved ones.
Wow. So you should have a
If you
funeral then?
you can have a funeral, but you should have a closed casket, no viewing of the body. And
So,
if you go back
can I ask a
to, if you
question?
go, sure.
So, how do a funeral home deal with someone who's died with COVID?
Mhm. Okay. Well, right now,
Obviously, it cannot
the ministry,
be the same way.
as a natural death, no. Right now, the Ministry of Health would have indicated that, you know, the body be put into a body bag and sanitized and then taken down to the relevant places for storage. Yes, it goes through the same process of finding out who is the next of kin.
Mm.
When you find out who is the next of kin, then the person will come choose the casket and everything like that. However, with this casket or coffin that they choose, it must be a sealant casket or coffin.
Well, Charles?
You can have a graveside funeral, you can do the pamlets and everything like that.
Mhm.
And that was the last
Uh,
thing, that was the last thing that was stated by the Ministry of Health. I have not seen a memo or anything like that dating that you can do anything else with the body.
Well, I think having a funeral at this time is not just closure for anyone. It is one of the most difficult things to go through. And I
Yeah.
want to say to Hero, we want to thank you for the service that you're giving to the people of Barbados, along with all of the other funeral directors, because it is not an easy task from hearing what you're telling us. And we
Hmm.
know that there's a lot more ahead for you, but we want to commend you and give you one of our stars for your contribution to our community and society to Barbados. You deserve that star because you are, as we would say, a frontline worker, because you can be called at any time to do that task.
Yeah.
And you've got one or two friends or
yeah.
individuals who know you well, and Anella Peters and Canara Seville, and Mr. John Fitzpatrick, who commended you and said that you have a clear idea of your future and he can see you going very far.
Hi, Uncle
Congratulations.
John. And they have been my biggest supporters. They live all the
Wonderful.
way in Luxembourg.
Oh, wonderful. We are glad to have you
Wow,
join us this evening. What time
wonderful.
is it
Yeah,
over there? Must be morning by
Well,
now.
Tahira,
yeah. Hi, Charles.
So I want to thank you very
as Mari
much.
said, I would like to
Yeah.
commend you on this journey you're taking, and I wish you all the best going forward.
Yeah.
And I hope that you blossom in this
Yeah.
industry and
I thank you
outshine
very
the
much for that.
before on the top.
Yeah. So for those persons who may not know, we'll give them a little bit. They could always follow us. We post our details on our Facebook page. It's the Bereavement Care Funerals, and they're
We are
quote or
also
theme dates
located. We are also
in
located on Instagram and Facebook.
wonderful. You do burials and cremation, repatriation, funeral arrangements. You also do home visits, floral arrangements, removal of the loved ones. You are there 24 hours and can be reached at 246-827-5385 or 8310747. Let me give those again: 246 is the area code. 827-5385. 8 The other number, sorry, is 831-0747. And this is bereavement care funerals. And remember that Tahira is also a teacher. So oh my God, we thank you for your service and diligence, Tahira. Do have a
Thank you very
beautiful
much for
evening.
having me, Marie and Charles.
You're most welcome, and you're always welcome to come
Thank
again
you
with
so much.
us.
You're most welcome.
Now, we will be celebrating our first year in business on the 1st of October. So
Oh
I just
gosh.
want to say thank you very much for my loved ones, my friends, and
Oh,
the support
congratulations.
that I have received over the year. And I look
Very
forward to serving everybody in the future that comes. Thank
beautiful.
you.
You're most welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank
You
you.
go
All right.
for it.
And
Take care.
we're going to be having, oh my God, she just gave me goosebumps. And I'm sure that Mr. Eastman, oh, he's going to give us more goosebumps. I am sure Mr. Eastman is going to add beautifully to our conversation this afternoon. Thank you to Tahira Payne. Now, in case nobody really knows Randy Eastman, I met him some time ago, about 2 or 3 years ago, through a teacher, because he was a teacher. And I think by passion, he's still a teacher, but in a different field. And I think he had the nickname called Beat Maker. So he can probably give us a little bit more on that. And we can learn a little bit more from him from a producer's perspective on music in Barbados and how it is, along the way with what's happened with the pandemic. So, without further ado, let us welcome Mr. Randy Eastwood.
Hi, good evening, everybody. Good evening,
Good
Charles and Mary.
evening.
Thank
Hi,
you
good
so much
evening.
for having me. It truly is a pleasure to be here.
I'm
I'm
so
so
happy to
happy to
have
have
you.
you.
And you
You
have
have
pandemic
pandemic
beard
beard
on
on
me.
me.
that's studying beard because I'm studying too, so not getting a chance to get out and go to the barber at all.
But that's
But
all
that's
right. We
okay.
just
We
had
just had
somebody who's
somebody who's
teaching
teaching
people to
people
do
to do
barbering.
barbering.
That's it.
Listen,
We'll hook
we'll
you
hook you
up.
up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
Well,
I
I
can relate.
I can
I can relate to
relate.
Randy
I can
because
relate to
I
Randy
was
because
I was away
I
in
was away in
Turks.
Turks.
I was locked
I
up
was
for
locked
four
up for four
months.
months.
And
And
all hair
all
all
here,
over.
all over.
Full beard, man. Yeah. This week though, it coming out this week. I gotta take a break this week.
Okay, you gotta let
Okay,
it
gotta let it
breathe.
I hear
breathe.
my
I
day.
hear right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well,
Well,
Randy,
Randy,
you know
you
how
know
I
what
do
I
with
do with
you.
you.
My
My
co-hosts
co-hosts
always
always
wonder
wonder
how I
how I
know
know
people.
people.
Right,
Okay?
Okay?
right.
So,
So
the
the
little
little
snippet
snippet
I
I
know,
know,
I
I
would have
would have
let
let
out the
out the
bag
bag
because
because
we
we
met
met
accidentally
accidentally
at
at
the
the
primary
primary
school.
school.
Correct.
So
So
let the
let the
folks
folks
learn a
learn a
little
little
bit
bit
about
about
Mr.
Mr.
Randy
Randy
Eastman
Eastwood
Oh
on
man.
on
his
his
own,
own,
from his
from his
own
own
mouth.
mouth.
Well, I really don't like talking about myself, because so many things. But in essence, I am an educator, music educator, um, music producer, songwriter, and I don't know, event producer, event coordinator. I'm also an artist manager. So I would say it's a diverse set of skills that comprise the person Randy Eastman and who I represent and who I am. And it's been a journey through life, mostly surrounded by music and the arts. Along with that creative side, I currently work as the peripatetic teacher for music at the Ministry of Education, Technological and Vocational Training, with direct responsibility for music, as I said. So, in a nutshell, everything is based around music. As you can see, I'm here in my studio. I'm the creative director of Quantum Productions Recording Studio. It's a recording studio based in Vauxhall, Christchurch, in the beautiful island of Barbados. And we also handle event management, event production, streaming services for events, etc. So, oh, we also do event rentals. So it's a diverse set of services, skills, etc. that make up what I do and my company.
Well,
Well,
in
in
your your crazy introduction, I know you would have given your piece on music. A lot of people would know, from what I could have researched on my own, I know you went to Papa Mary,
Of
and you
course,
also taught
of
at,
course.
is it the University on the Hill?
Waterford University. Waterford University.
And you were also a teacher at Parkinson Secondary School.
Correct.
If I recollect, the story was that you had met a young boy and you gravitated to the youth from that area.
Mm.
Now, in gravitating to the youth, how was your music helping the youth? A lot of people
Okay.
don't realize that music helped the youth because not everybody is academically inclined. So
Mhm.
tell us, how did music help the youth,
Well,
for your experience?
But let me just clarify. It wasn't just one young person. It was several young persons.
Mhm.
Of course, that one young man you speak of is Mylon Clark, who is extremely dear to my heart. But I can't. It would be remiss of me to ignore the other guys who I met at that time when I went to the school. I joined the staff at Parkinson in 2008 and stumbled upon a plethora of talent. Some boys who were extremely enthusiastic and very interested in the arts. Mylon Clark being one of them. We had Shamar Coombs, who has moved on now to be the engineer, stage engineer for Machine Montana. He's also done work for Barry Salmon. We had Amber Orano, Kayla Thorpe, Christopher Fort, who now plays Tuck Band, Shane Collymore. So many youngsters at the school at that point in time. Um, and what I realized, these youngsters wanted an avenue. They were looking for a way out, a way to express themselves in an area that they can show their competence. Even though the level of competency and efficiency was not realized at the point in time, they had an interest in some area of the arts. They probably didn't realize their specialty at that point in time, but they knew they wanted to be involved in the arts. And through music, um, myself, along with Mr. Sheldon Hope, who was the music teacher there, we orchestrated a plan in conjunction with the principal, of course, because the curriculum is directed by the principal, to build out the arts program in such a way that Parkinson places itself on the map and that it will be recognized in the educational fraternity for the creation of persons in the arts who can perform, showcase their talent, etc. And fortunately, I was able to put together a school pop band, and that pop band did extremely well. We had about 8 members, and so many other students from the school wanting to join and having to audition. I mean, it was so much talent coming forward at the point in time because those kids came forward. I believe our first time we showcased was at in the school hall, either at an assembly or a school concert, and that caused so much energy and traction within the school. So many kids want to be a part of it. We will rehearse at lunchtime, and kids come up there, they want to be a part of it. And I did that out of my own memory because of what happened to me when I was at school. I was in an a cappella group. It was about nine guys, 9 boys at Commonwealth School, and we all decided we wanted to sing. At that time, singing would have been, considered being a puller for the girls. So all these boys, we decided,
A puller for the
tell us, man,
girls, Charles.
we could hold a tune, and we would line under the tree across the pasture at Commonwealth School, practicing or singing. There was one guy who was extremely competent. The rest of us we were okay, but he was extremely competent with picking harmonies and helping us to understand harmonies and singing in harmony. And one day the principal walked across, and she accused us, right, wrongfully so, of possibly being involved in drugs or some illegal activity on the compound. We were like, but no, ma'am, we were practicing. So she used to go to the office. We went to the office, and long story short, we tried to explain. She said, "Oh, sing what? What can y'all sing? None of y'all boys out there looking like that. Y'all know something about singing." So I was like, "Fellas, let me just let you hear what's going on." So we started to sing "Lord Prepare Me," and I mean, the entire office staff just broke down. They were like, they could not believe it, and they asked us to perform the next morning at assembly. And I remember the energy that we received from the school, from our peers, from teachers, etc. And I tried to recreate that moment for the Parkinson School Band when they went there, right? Because, well, they were under my supervision, so nobody thought they were doing anything illegal, fortunately, right? Um, there were some other situations involved which has some content. You know, I say that because I figure you would have seen the building that Parkinson launched that we're going to do the arts program in, right? And I would take those boys over there because I didn't have a music room at that time, and the building was condemned, not structurally, but because of the fumes that would come from the road, from the stoplights that used to be there years ago. Those stoplights didn't exist anymore. So structurally, the building was sound, but most teachers were not in agreement with me taking over there. I had no other space. That was the only area I can go that I can rehearse them. There was an a cappella group that actually started, and I kind of taught them the same songs that we did. So, long story short, again, I had a vision for that building to be a creative arts center because it was not being used. 19 classrooms unused, and so much talent in this school, and the history of Parkinson in terms of its contribution to the arts. Okay. Along with that, Kevin Watson, who is my brother, everybody knows that. We would assist youngsters with voice training because he is a qualified vocal trainer. He's a qualified musician as well, and an extremely talented singer. And it would bring him to the school to help the vocalists with their execution and performance and pitching and singing, etc. And we started to realize that the amount of kids that were gravitating towards us, we had a movement going. And outside of assisting with music, we would also assist with personal development, and we would also assist financially in particular areas where children were deemed to be at risk. Okay. And Kevin and I said, look, what we're doing here is technically, a charity, and we can create a charity that is geared towards the arts, but assists children and guides them in the way that we want them to be in terms of positive development. So we coined the phrase Youth in the Spotlight Development Program and Charitable Trust. And I brought on board my mother at the point in time as a director as well, along with one of the teachers at the Parkinson Memorial School, Mrs. Kelly Arthur. And we were the 4 founders of that charity, still in existence today. And our basic ethos and methodology is that it is a musical and a cultural incubator for personal development, channeling young people through music to be better persons, to be better citizens, to be better people overall. And that's how we got into working with young people through the arts and helping them to develop and grow in the creative arts.
Well, I think that's a mouthful, Charles.
Yeah.
I think
And
that's
that's only a minute piece of the story. I trying to skip steps so that you wouldn't talk the whole of it. It's really a lot. There's a lot more.
because
Really a lot.
I went to an article
I
to
had
get my little
I
story
had
on
questions, but
you.
he answered all of them.
But you can ask them. Like I said, there's so much more context and perspective. So feel free to ask because I can go into even more detail with different things, right?
No,
Now, go ahead, Charles.
no. I like the aspect of people using their talent to teach the youth, and that's what you have done. And it's great to see that because there are a lot of young people out there that have talent, but they don't have anyone to actually help them to showcase their talent.
Yeah.
And it's good that I can see you doing that to the young people who have talent in the creative arts.
Yeah.
One of the things that I have to ask, since he's a music teacher, a producer, is notably with what's happening now in the music industry. I think between 2016 2017, you became you had performers, young performers, who became part of the Yellow Bashment era.
Yeah.
Um, Explain to the audience what bashment is, because a lot of people don't understand bashment. I'm
I
one
don't
of
think
them.
I don't think people understand genres. Period.
Yeah.
Right. So a genre is defined by the rhythm of the music and the rhythmic structure.
Hmm.
So bashment is a rhythm essentially that components of it are borrowed from a Jamaican style dub style fusion of reggae and soca. It's a fusion, and on top of that, you have a Barbadian style type of chanting on top of the bashment. People usually will say, or people who don't know will try to associate bashment with slackness. Unfortunately, it just so happens that some or most of the songs that are coined in the bashment genre do have that negative connotation of sexual innuendo, um, girls dancing and gyrating a particular way that may be seen as, you know, not worthy of viewing by particular parts of our society. All right. But you can have positive lyrics on Bashment. Matter of fact, well, the video for one of the campaigns for the vaccinations, I did a jingle with Natalie Burke, and we decided we were going to use a Bashment rhythm. And Natalie was able to sing a positive lyric. You know, all know Natalie as a chanter, right?
And not only that, she's also a teacher.
She's
So,
also a teacher. So she coined positive phrases on top of that. There are a lot of artists who have taken the Bashment rhythm and they've placed positive lyrics on top of it, right? And as we know with any type of music or any genre, you know, you will have that section, and it still has to be considered as art, because back in the day, I probably didn't experience as much of the as you all. You all had the experience of the clown princes, etc. And at that time, well,
what's the
for
crown
us now, we were like,
princess?
what are these
What's the
men
crown
singing?
princess?
Clown princes. You had Kaba and those
Oh,
guys, right? That you
oh,
probably would make fun of at that
mm-hmm.
point in time. But at the end of the day, there's a level of artistry that some of those guys,
Oh,
if you had to clinically and critically break it down, not many people can do that. And the way that they I don't know, the way how they place phrases on top of rhythms, right, is unique to them. And that in itself is art. And you really can't judge a person's creativity, especially if it does fit within the genre, and it is melodic, it has its rhythmic structure, etc. You really can't, you can't knock a person for the effort that they're making to be creative. We can classify it and categorize it in terms of how good we believe it is, right? But you can't knock a person for their creativity.
Well, I don't know what Charles would say on that, but I would say, having grown up in the musical family,
Hmm.
I would think that you say positive. I'm not saying you don't have positive. There are some who do have
Yeah, of
positive
course. Yeah.
lyrics. However, my problem with it is, if you want to remain on a positive, clean agenda, it shouldn't go to a point where it starts to drop the category of the music down
Well,
to
the
certain.
question you have to ask is if the artists want to be on a positive category.
Oh, I
You see,
didn't think of
there's a
that.
market for it. So
A
they're
market
gonna
for what? The positive or the negative?
for both. There's a market for everything. Unfortunately, the way our society is going, the way the world is going, um, the things that we deem as negative or immoral or I don't know, crass for ladies, etc.,
Hmm.
edgy on the edge is what our young people are gravitating towards.
But that's what a tent manager said to me.
is
That's
it?
what sells.
Yeah, that's what sells.
That's what
Before
sells.
before the phrase was sex sells, but now it's edgy sells, and edgy goes from
Yeah.
that to violence to whatever, dressing
Well,
on the edge,
that's no, that's a
color
different
blocking.
topic. That's a
That's a
different
different thing, right?
color
And
block.
we are actually, or the conference that we met at, we spoke about the influence of music, and the effects of violence, etc., in the
Yes,
music and how that affects children, etc. Right?
yes, yes.
But these are realities that we have to deal with, and the question is, how do we reverse it as a society if that is what we hope to do? But I
Hmm.
don't think we want to, because if we did, the persons who have the power to do such would not allow particular things to infiltrate. Right? There's a lot of things that we can do to stem and curb the access that these young people have to particular types of music.
I love music. I would say that.
But is it a
And
case where you have someone who's a young artist that could be peer pressure, could be youth to be forced to sing these lyrics even though they don't want to,
Never, never,
because
never
they see a
force.
certain artist singing these lyrics and okay.
I never force. I think it's culture, it's influence. Okay,
mm,
and because it is seen as cool.
No, not you, not per se. I thought the general the friends ears.
No, I don't think artists are forced. I think artists, like you say, it may be an element of peer pressure, wanting and you wanting to be cool. So
mhm.
you may hear a rhythm, and you may have had some background that has some sort of moral standing inside of you. And your dilemma right now, when you hear this rhythm, is: am I going to write a positive song, or am I going to try to be trendy? And I'm going to bring on a song that all of my friends are going to love me. I'm going to get popular. I'm going to make money. I'm going to get girls. Everything. When I do a positive song, what are the advantages? My friends can call me I don't know. Were you trying to be a past, or I don't know how, I don't know what they will term the person. You don't know what connotation or what phrase the person may coin to describe them with. But that's the struggle that I believe emerging artists have once they come to the fore. Where am I going to go? Am I going to just be trendy, or am I going to push the envelope and try to get my friends to see a different light?
Worked with individuals. Well, I know one of them personally, Nigel. His stage name obviously is Statement,
Oh yeah.
and Kiomal. And should we? Well, I think you made a mention to that. But should we categorize them with the likes of um? Oh dear, I forgot the chap's name. I like to hear him, but he was in trouble here just now with with the
You mean
guns.
Peter
Now,
Ram?
no, I know Peter Ram, the younger one, Lead Pipe. You know
Like,
they change their names all the
right,
time.
right.
And now the word you used earlier was there's an art form.
Hmm.
Definitely an art form. Now, Nigel, quote unquote, known as Statement, Aka Statement, I know him from way back. And he had an art, still does. And he didn't need music to do what he does today. He just used to be doing like this and singing. He would just pop up and you'll be dying with laughter.
Yeah.
To me, that's an art.
Right.
Now, to take that art and put it into the type of genre, into bashment, it's good. And as you said, it all depends on how people take the music and, twist it around. And we always know Barbadians like to have their double tundra, is it called?
Double entendre. Double entendre.
Double
Yeah.
entendre. And I'll be honest, and I always tell people this story. I remember when that popular group, sorry, from your alma mater, MAD, had cocktails.
Hmm.
Everybody knows cocktails. And
Yeah.
I'm singing this song at school. The girls are asking me, "You don't know what a cocktail is?" I said, "No, it's a drink." But everybody had a different mind to what the drink was.
Interpretation.
Interpretation. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to have that with Bashment, and I'm not bashing Bashment.
No, I understand.
It is. There are some songs that I like. I think one is the my his daughter went to school with my daughter. Oh Lord, he sang this song with wood. She like all kind of wood.
Skrilla.
Now, I thinking about mahogany, um, cinnamon tree,
Right.
whatever kind of tree.
Right.
Um,
And
the poles. You do the poles with that material.
right.
Whatever poles.
Right. Right. Right.
But again, tundra. Everybody's thinking of something
Different.
totally
Correct.
different.
Correct.
That's the fun of music. Now, why I took you that road is because that is me. I like fun songs.
Right.
But at the end of the day, someone who quote unquote may look at the song differently would use it in a different limelight. Again, Edward Earring, Sugar Cane. I think about sugar cane. Just sweet sugar cane. I go in the field, get lock up, cut piece, and I eat it.
Hmm.
Everybody is thinking along a different
Different.
road,
Different perspective.
right?
Yeah.
I think helping Charles a bit. The problem that I think I have is when an artist, I call them artists because that's what they are.
Yeah.
They're entertainers. Take their art to a different level to downgrade themselves to somebody
Exactly.
else.
Exactly.
That is where I think they lose their shine.
So remember that I mentioned to you the categories. So we then have to say, okay, this is what you are calling your creativity, but where do you fall on this scale? Right?
Okay.
Is it
Yeah.
in the upper echelon, or are you in the lower echelon? Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I say you then, as the listener, you will place that person in a particular category.
Yes.
You, Mary, may place a
So you're
nonsense song, because there are nonsense songs out there for sure. You may place a
Yes.
nonsense song at the lower end of the scale,
Mm-hmm.
but someone else who loves it is gonna say this person is better than Edwin Yearwood.
Mm.
That's the reality that you face, and it
But as
all
a
is because of perspective. It's all
okay,
because of perspective and context.
as a producer, as
Hmm.
well, I would say a mentor, because I have to give you your jacket. I
Yeah,
commend you on it because you are contributing to society, helping the youth. As a producer and a teacher, and you see one of your artists going along that road, what would you say to them?
I don't record it. I don't record those kind of songs. Period.
And they
Period.
don't get offended or anything
They
to
know
that.
my stance on that. They know my stance on that. You come here with music or don't come at all. Let me make some good music. We can have fun songs. I've done fun songs with the double entendre, etc.
Yes,
But
yes.
I don't do slackness or anything that's going to promote killing or violence or anything.
And
I
do
don't
you
record it.
speak to them along that line?
Yeah, of
Because
course,
you,
of
you
course.
are you're not just as I said, a producer or a teacher.
Hmm.
You are a mentor to these young singers,
Yep.
and I pray as time goes by they realize the importance of what you're teaching them. It's
Hmm.
not just to sing and dance and carry on.
Hmm.
I think people have to realize that music is an industry.
Yeah.
So on that note,
Hmm.
tell us the difficulties as a producer, not just a teacher, but as a producer, how it is presently with the pandemic, um, while we are in this state, not of a lockdown, but on a slowdown, because you didn't have crop over last year, you didn't have crop over this year.
Yeah.
What has it been like for you as a
But
music producer?
it's been hard. And I think every producer and every studio has a different situation. So perhaps my situation doesn't describe or represent every person's situation, but it has been difficult, especially financially, simply because the artists are not making money. And pre-COVID, it was already difficult, and to for artists to make money in the environment in Barbados was already hard. It was already difficult. With the advent of a lockdown from COVID as a result of COVID, most artists not being able to travel, the situation only got worse. So as a producer, have to make a decision as to whether you're gonna write it out with the artists, work with them, because they don't have the money to pay up front, and you have to now see it as an investment in yourself and also an investment in the artist, because every song is not just an audio recording that you're releasing. It literally is a product. The same way you have a phone, the same computers or devices that we're using right now, similar to how Apple or Microsoft may have developed products, a song is a product. So you as a producer now have to see the viability in the song as a product and understand the varying revenue streams that you possibly could pull out of this particular music or product that you can share to the public. So with saying that, decisions have to be made as to whether you're going to invest in the song, if the song you think has marketability even in a COVID environment, and if it can be sold as a digital product, or you probably say, well, it has longevity, and if I keep pushing it, hopefully within a year or two, once things seemingly normalize, then you can monetize on that particular product, whether it be via live performances or again streaming through various platforms as a digital product. But I will say it has been difficult, and I've had to diversify in many areas. I had to get into streaming and learn how to stream, and that is a new service that we offered, right?
Right.
To do events. I was already an event coordinator, but now I had to learn how to do streaming and add that to the portfolio, because that's what people are doing now. Virtual graduations. We've been a part of a lot of things like that, virtual events, and the decor involved with that, and then the technical side of doing that. Even for our charity, we would normally do a live Christmas concert called Youth at Christmas. I had to find a way to do that in a virtual environment last Christmas, right? So it's been really tough. That's the truth. But I think it is good in a way because it taught you how to diversify, and it also taught you not to depend on one single avenue for revenue or one single thought process and approach. You know, up to last night, I had a conversation with a promoter from the UK, and he was sharing so many different perspectives and ways that artists can make money because everything is opened up on the in the overseas market, but the Caribbean is still pretty much locked down, right? You know, so we shared a lot of different ideas and ways and innovations that we can look to implement within the industry.
What would you say? Well, let me rephrase it. How do you think the music industry will pick back up after the loss of these 2 years of pop over music? Because I know a lot of artists didn't do much. So, what do you see in the
I, I
forefront?
I can't predict when it will happen, but I know that there is definitely demand for music and definitely demand for entertainment. So as long as things have some resemblance of normalcy, I don't even know what that means in a post-COVID environment. I've been mulling over that to see how that could look, and I'm not sure. But if there is some level of normalcy or what we were accustomed to before, there definitely is a market, for it, and I can see things getting back rolling and what's not. But to be honest, if we had to be fair and assess the situation, I don't think we're going to go back to anything near what was normal before.
Mm.
I don't think
And
I don't think it will be.
so, do you think? Well, we all know, as you mentioned earlier, I want to touch on you and Sluggy. But a lot of people don't know his nickname is Sluggy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I want to just touch on something quickly where they talk of, you spoke about diversifying, but I want to touch on the fact that you, as a producer, push and promote Barbadian music. And we know that the Michelle Montanas and the Olas and what's the other guy's name? Can't I know them, but they're not coming to mind.
Mm,
The big guys
right.
who are in Trinidad, they are going to pick up because of their market. Are we ever going to be able for our calypso to get to that market, as far as that market, for the
Calypso
market
or
to pick
calypso
up?
or soca.
Slash soca or music, Barbadian music, because I find sometimes Barbadians sometimes don't really support their own. They usually look at the international artists like the same Marshalls and whoever else come from Trinidad and wherever. But my thing is, music is an industry. It's a multi-million industry outside.
Yeah.
So we've only seen maybe three of our own Barbadians getting that far: the Rihanna, the Rupi, and the Chantal. Why is it that we can't make that our own industry, like how Jamaica has? If you see where I'm getting at?
It's simple. No, it's simple. We don't have the economies of scale to support that.
Oh,
285,000 people is minuscule in comparison to what is out there in the world. And what we have to do is to not look at Barbados alone. The challenge that artists had the same conversation last night. The challenge that artists here face is trying to stay relevant in the Barbadian market
mm-hmm.
and also finding a niche in the international market. And we need to expand our product and our scope so that we can benefit from the economies of scale. When you look at artists in Nigeria, the artists in Nigeria who pretty much live on entertainment, and
Mm,
that's because they have millions or billions. I'm not sure the exact population, but if you post a new song in Nigeria, your average viewership is going to be around what 500,000 minimum at the minimum. You're gonna hit a million views
minimum.
once you've got a good song. You're guaranteed you're gonna go a million views. In Barbados, if you get 300 views with an okay song, you're good, right? Good songs here
Wow.
in Barbados. There are songs here in Barbados that were that I think have gone to a million views, and because they were good songs, but the market was based around the Caribbean. You had dancehall artists like LRG. LRG has about 3 or 4 songs that are over a million views, probably even more than that, produced by a Barbadian producer, CJ, right? But he
Mm-hmm.
was collaborating with Trinidadian artists, Trinidadian dancehall artists, and again, the Trinidadian market is huge. So the songs got big in Trinidad, came back to Barbados, got big, and then and just started to get some momentum. I think he even did collaboration with somebody in Mexico. I saw a lot of traveling and doing a whole set of things. So we need to look outside because our market is so small. If you look at social media, another challenge there.
Mm-hmm.
Social media is based on an algorithm. It's based on how many hits and how many sets of movement you can get. So
Yeah.
if you don't have a big following, you may have a great song, but if nobody hears it or knows about the song, it
Uh-huh.
never will transcend the barriers, right? If a tree falls in a forest and nobody hears it, did it make a sound? I always ask people that, right? So with our my like my Instagram, I have a very small following,
Me
probably like
too.
2,000 people. You know what I mean? I
Oh
doing
no.
good music, but nobody hears it. You know what I mean? Probably would get 100 and something views, and I feel good. But when they're looking at other people's profiles and they get views like 10,000 and 500 and
Yeah.
something thousand, and yeah, I know I think, oh, you're doing it, and me with my little couple of views, nobody. I mean, I have a catalog of over 500 songs, and nobody in Barbados knows that. I probably, that probably will never be known because people don't know what I'm doing simply because I don't exist digitally, because I don't have the
Right.
following, right?
Right. Right. Well,
So
well, I learned
it's a
something
hard
this
market.
evening. I got
There's
to
They
so
do
like
many,
some.
that.
so many dynamics, man. There's so many dynamics.
I got to do some more
And
tutoring.
added to that too, Mary, I want to add, when you mentioned Marshall and those guys, there's another element that may limit Barbadian artists because there are so many foreign producers. They don't want to call a specific country, but there's so many
Mm-hmm.
foreign producers from other Caribbean territories in the UK, the US, and the European markets who will obviously gravitate towards their hometown.
Mm-hmm.
Trinidad, in the case of soca, Jamaica, in the case of reggae,
Mm-hmm.
right? Barbados faces a unique challenge in that we don't have anything to call our own,
No, I
right?
disagree.
So
I
when
disagree.
hold on,
We
hear me out
do.
first. Hear me
We
out first.
do have our own.
Hear me out first.
No.
Here where I'm going with it. Here where I'm going with it. Here where I'm going with it.
Okay.
Jamaica has reggae.
Yes.
Trinidad has soca.
Yes.
Nigeria and the African continents, they have Afro beats. We
Uh-huh.
have spooge, but again,
Yes.
it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Why not?
Nobody
That
knows
that
about
could be
it.
a different discussion.
Right, but nobody knows it. Like
Nobody
how I
knows
just
the
gave the
swoosh.
analogy with my Instagram account. It isn't known. It hasn't broken the barriers. It's fantastic music. It's beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. Nicholas Branca has done so much to show the
Yes.
possibilities with spooge. All the musicians, the Draytons, to everybody who has contributed to the spooge genre, we were not able to break. We were not able to break the market. I think losing Jackie at such a young age hinders spooge as well, because he would have been the person to take it out there, similar to how Bob Marley took reggae to the world.
Yeah.
You
Sparrow
know,
took Calypso to the world. We didn't have someone that took
yeah,
Barbados to the world.
correct.
Yes, Charles. You wanted to ask the question, Charles?
Even with Arrow, with Hot Hot Hot,
Yeah,
and then you had like RPB with Raga Raga.
yeah,
Those songs were hit songs, and that I done nearly 20 years ago.
yeah,
So songs of
I
today
think.
for Barbados are not out there like RPB or Arrow. The only person
exactly.
that can get songs out there is probably like Rupi Clark, because
Yeah,
he goes international to sing his songs. Germany and those places out there,
but
and he
but
promotes his
again,
songs. He
again,
promotes Barbados.
his distribution took him from here to the international market. Had he not had a good distributor or someone who
Right
heard the
about here,
song,
exactly.
or the record label that was interested, that was able to place him in the market with the
Mm-hmm.
economies of scale, that would not have happened. Again,
Mm-hmm.
Raga Raga, somebody took that song and moved it. It's not to say that we don't have
Yeah,
the songs that can go to that market. We
and
have the
move it.
songs, but somehow we don't have the consistency of movement with the amount of song, with the songs that need to go to the market, and people actually hearing it on that scale, so that it can actually do something monetarily and be financially viable for the artists. We are popular here, but that's about it.
But that's
But years
all.
ago, yeah, but years ago we had. I can remember every summer, we got RPB, Matt Fingal, Grainer, quite one or two others. Every year they head to New York and Canada, and
Again, Beijing promoters
they don't
existed.
even sing here in Barbados. They just go out and yep,
The
I
Beijing promoters
submit.
were
they go
there.
overseas and sing their songs. And that's
Yeah.
how. Yep. Yep.
And that's the problem. No, we don't have that many Bajan promoters doing stuff anymore. Yes, those guys are older now. They probably passed on. Probably not too interested in it. I think there's a surge of young Barbadian promoters coming now. I think that I've had a meeting with this guy in Miami. He was telling me, that they really want to build on that and really start getting the Barbadians coming back into the market and performing. Right. So obviously, like I said before, Trinidad promoters are going to go for their hometown people. They may include one or two Barbadians because they have the crowd pull effect. But
Mm-hmm.
if I'm a promoter and I'm going to spend 2,000 US on a ticket for you to fly to US, in this case, another maybe 1,500 US or so in accommodation per diem, and then a performance fee, you have to be bringing at least 500 people through the door for me, though, for it to make sense. That's
Mm-hmm.
the problem. So when they put artist X on a poster and say, yeah, I'm bringing this guy from Barbados, and people look at the poster, say, who? You may have fantastic music, but if they don't know you, they're not coming through the door for you. So that's
Yes.
another challenge that promoters have out there. So there's so many dynamics that may be hindering the growth and development. I don't think it's talent at all, because I think we have tremendous talent here. The talent is
Yeah.
absolutely fantastic. The,
Yeah.
the, the issue
Yeah.
we have to do the issue we have is that we need to drill down, find the solution, find the core problem, fix that core problem, and figure out how to move the talent from here overseas in the initial stages, on promotion basis for now, till
Right.
they get
Right.
known in the market, and then we can look to expand on our own.
Wow. I would not have thought about it, well, from that perspective, because as a producer, I think you would have broadened our mind this evening to think about it, because it, it's a lot of breathing just
Yeah,
thinking about what you just said,
yeah.
not
Talent is
knowing
not the
what
issue.
yeah,
Talent is
not
not the
knowing
issue.
what it really entails. It's
Yeah.
a lot of work,
Ta-
really.
there's a youngster by the name of Father Phyllis right now. I mean, this guy did a song. I can't even call it a song. It's prose pretty much, and it's Bajan parlance that he used,
Mm.
um, describing a girl's behind. He said you see that brawling, brawl, whatever, whatever lyrics
Oh
are.
yes,
And
yes,
that was fun for
yes,
him. He didn't
yes.
intend it to be a song. And his friends were, man, you gotta record this. And he went in the studio and just
But
did it.
didn't he get recognized for that for a company overseas or
He's
something?
on tour. He's on tour making
Yes,
money, right?
yes,
For a fun song. That was not his intention.
yes. I
He
remember I
never
saw that on an
imagined.
article
He never
with
imagined
a
the
person
song
with a
would have done that.
bottom.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Never imagined that, right? So there's so many dynamics. Again, that Kairos moment, you never know when a song is gonna blow. One of my artists walks. We had that same thing happen with us. I've been recording Jamar for about four years. Really good songs. You know, I'm a small studio putting them out. People probably hear them and like them. People actually like them, yes, for sure. But he wasn't getting recognition, and he was in his home environment there with his cell phone,
Yeah.
making fun with his friends, singing the song. And he went viral for a song recorded on a cell phone. And he had to go in the studio, record that song, and put it on the market. And that's how he managed to then start to get legs. We then had a hit song, a soca song called Charm Is a Color. But that
Hmm.
stemmed because he was known in the eyes of the public in Barbados. But
Yeah,
Charm Is a Color could have come out without him being popular, and that song would never be known to.
Mm.
That was another
right.
possibility. So there's so many dynamics. That Kairos moment of
Yeah.
not knowing when you're going to get that big song, you don't ever know.
Wow.
Can't plan
Well,
for it. Can't
I
plan
can
for it.
yeah, definitely not. I can
Yeah.
surely say, Randy, that you're you, you, you're a teacher. So you really taught us a lot this evening, because it opened our eyes to something that we didn't realize. And I'm sure that there are other producers and
Yeah.
promoters out there who would love to have a forum like this where they can, really put their heart on the table to let people realize that this is really what we want for Barbados. We need that help. We need that push. We need that money invested in us, like everything else that's missing in Barbados. But
Exactly.
at the same time, we know it is a lucrative business, which, as you said, it will take some time to get out there. But if we had the right investors in this type of industry, regardless of the genres, because any genre can make it anywhere, anytime big, just like the guy
Yeah.
with the bottom. Um, but I must say, between yourself and Kevin Sluggy,
Yep.
It is commendable what you all are doing, because I think I saw you on Morning Barbados some mornings ago.
Some, yeah, for sure. We
And
always doing stuff together. Always.
yeah, and I commend you for your work and contribution to society. A lot of people may not think that what you do is worth commending or giving you any accolades. No, I'm just being serious. I keep it real. A lot of people don't see it that way.
Yeah.
But Charles and I would know that it's not just about the music and quote unquote making music of tundra.
Mm-hmm.
It's about teaching and giving young people that avenue to stay out of trouble,
Mm-hmm.
and that
For
they
sure.
can use their talent for something good.
Good. Yeah.
That's the important part, because it shows me, I'm sure it shows Charles the same way, that you have a passion for the youth, not just for
Yeah.
your music, but for the youth. And I always say you have a star on our
for the
page,
youth.
and we commend you and thank you for your continued service to society.
I
I don't know if
appreciate that.
Charles wants to say anything. You can hear
No,
Charles?
it's great having you here tonight, Randy, and also to get out there and to be out there with the youth to let them showcase their talent, their creative art.
Yeah.
So we congratulate you, my friend.
Thank you.
Yes,
Appreciate it.
and I want to wish you well in your studies. I understand you're now at UWI. I know
Hmm.
you're doing some of it, maybe some virtual and some face to
Everything
face, as I
is fully
remember.
online. It's fully online program.
So I know that it's a bit tasking. I don't want to take you away from those books, but we want to really and truly thank you for taking out the evening to spend with us, so we will
Mhm.
learn a little bit more on the music industry with producer Mr. Randy Eastman. God bless,
Thank
and
you.
thank you for being with us,
Thank
and
you. Really
enjoy the
appreciate
rest
it.
of the week.
And
Thank
thank
you
you for the
very
opportunity
much.
as well. Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
You're
All
most
righty.
welcome. You're
All
most
right.
welcome.
Bye.
Okay.
All right.
So, Charles, I think we had
Bye
a
bye.
very informative evening, didn't you?
Wow, I learned a lot today from funeral homes to music.
I think I think we really had a
It was a
wonderful
lot. Oh
evening.
my goodness.
Yeah, we had a wonderful evening. And I want to say
Yeah,
kudos to those young people. Those
we
are two young
we
people
really
we had
kept
on our
we
show.
yeah. And I keep telling you we are young too, so I don't know why you keep emphasizing that they're young. This is a young
I
people show.
knock them dead, Charles. Knock them dead. I really enjoyed those two young people. They're entrepreneurs, and they've really put their best foot forward. They're hitting the rock. They're hitting the road, not rock. They're hitting the road hard. They ain't letting
Yeah,
up on nothing. They're not letting anything keep them back. That's the important thing. So I know
yeah, and
Charles wanted to
I
give a
must say
little. Yeah, go ahead.
with Tahira and her business, it really give on a serious note, um, give people let them know what's going on, especially when someone dies from COVID.
Hmm.
Is not business as usual. It's not
Hmm.
a funeral like before. It's and then with Randy and his contribution to the society with young people
Yeah,
showcasing their art, the music.
yeah, yeah,
It's really good.
yeah. I
So
must. I have to commend them, and they're sure to get our stars for sure with keeping it real with Mary and Charles. So, for those out
all
there
right.
who were following us this evening, we hope that we didn't keep you away from the news. We know that some stuff was happening on the news this evening, but we'll follow up with that a bit later. And we want to
News
thank all of our
news
guests,
after then.
Tahira Payne and Randy Eastman of Quantum Productions, Tahira Payne of Bereavement Care, for joining us this evening and making it a very informative afternoon. And Charles will be coming to us on another event. I don't know if you want to give that little snippet quickly for any travel advice for the week.
Well, traveled. Well, I saw something on the news. JetBlue man
Oh,
tries to storm JetBlue cockpit, attacks attendant, and asks to be shot. I mean, this was
really?
crazy. Uh,
And
yeah, passenger on board a JetBlue flight from Boston to Puerto Rico tried to storm the cockpit before choking a flight attendant and shouted at the pilot in Arabic and Spanish to shoot him, officials said. Flight 261 was about an hour from San Juan late Wednesday
mhm.
when Cali became enraged after a phone call he tried to make was unsuccessful, according to an FBI agent. Some 25 minutes later, he pulled himself out of his seat and rushed towards the flight deck, yelling to be shot in Spanish. The
Wow.
heroic flight attendant pushed him into the space between the front row and the galley, the Fed said. Is that
Ooh.
crazy?
And I think the FAA is having
I
some problems with these outbursts and um, what you call it,
Yeah, I mean it's a pretty long article. I won't go through the whole thing, but
yeah,
this is not the first time that instances of this have happened since travel has resumed normal worldwide. I
yeah,
mean, they had a few cases where a woman on the flight refused to put on her mask and she had to be escorted out by security and police. And I
a guy
mean,
was
it's
actually
just crazy.
taped into his chair. These are
Yeah,
unusual
it's
days.
yeah. I think I know if COVID's getting to people. I believe it is, but I mean, if you want to travel, you just have to adhere to the rules of the airlines. Wear your mask.
Yeah, yeah,
Is not like if I have to.
yeah, yeah.
It is all part of it now. You
Correct.
know, wear your mask. And I believe that soon. I think there're going to be air marshals on those flights again because after 9/11, air marshals were placed on flights
Mhm,
uh,
mhm.
to prevent these incidents from happening, and I believe it's going to happen again.
Yeah, we have some money says
You know,
called it. Alemayu is calling it
so
COVID fatigue. He's saying COVID fatigue. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy. It's
So we have to
crazy.
remind the folks.
Well, I hope next week we have some cruise information next week,
Yes,
some airfares because we ran over time here,
yes, we definitely did. So
uh,
we want to tell the folks out there,
and some
thank you for
sports.
joining us this evening. And Charles is on his mantle singing with his Formula One, Lewis Hamilton, Zane Maloney. I know
Yes.
he's happy. He's happy. He's happy. So we're
Well,
going to get an
you
opportunity
know,
again to talk about those things.
next week.
Yeah, next week. So, folks,
Well,
we're
let me
going to,
before we go, let me just
okay.
say that you know, for a black man in a white man's sport, Lewis Hamilton,
Mm,
that can
mm-hmm,
break all these records,
mm-hmm.
and is now one of the most successful Formula One driver in history. I'm a black
100,
man,
100. He did some centurion
100
something.
races. Yeah, it's a great feat. And if you listen to his where he came from and what his father had to do to
Yeah.
get to this point,
Mm-hmm,
because his father is from Grenada.
mm-hmm,
He is black. His mother is white.
mm-hmm.
So it just shows, if you're black, white, whatever. Once you have that dream, you push, you make.
Correct.
He's
Amen.
today, and I mean, it was good. So my favorite sport.
I know. I allowed you to come in with that. Your favorite sport. Right, your
Well,
favorite
thank you
sport, Charles. So, without further ado, I am
for the rest
sure the
words.
folks had a lovely time with us this afternoon. We had two lovely guests who joined us.
Interested it.
Um, Lori Edgel told me I started you up on a conversation topic that you love, and I'll tell Lori that we leave in now. So, folks, next week we're going to be having some more special guests. Listen out for us.
Thank you,
Follow us
sister.
on Facebook. Go to YouTube, subscribe, click the notification button so that when we come on the next show, you won't miss a thing. We want to thank you for joining us this evening because we are keeping it real with Mary and Charles. Good evening. Remember to continue to be safe. Call a friend. Let them know how much you love them. Bye bye.
Bye.